slow heartbeat can be heard, and we see a woman's blue eyes. Darkness gradually moves towards the center before vanishing. An image of a bridge over the ocean appears from the colorful blue and green scene. In black wetsuits, Ren and Ren Amari are seated on the sand. Jared is asked by Ren if he wants to return to the ocean. He refuses and wonders if she'll stay there forever, but eventually falls when Ren tempts him with the goggles and flippers. They both swim through the crystal clear water. Ren opens her eyes as a second colorful image appears in the view through a building window, and a tiny drop of black fluid falls from her right eye. She is seated on the ground with empty plastic eyedropper bottles. About 6 days from now, OtherLife will go live, according to a countdown clock. Voiceover starts with Ren where she is giving an interview with the TDA, a drug administration. When she is asked about her great academic record, which stopped 4 years ago, Ren replies that it was because of an accident in which her brother came about to drown. The journalist expresses her feelings of empathy, but Ren responds that her brother was alive after that incident. They talk about the elusive technology known as OtherLife. Ren defines it as biological software that, on a molecular level, is indistinguishable from reality and acts as a memory programming tool rather than a medicine. Ren visits her brother in the hospital who is in coma. A second eyedropper is used to trickle the black liquid into his eye before she sets up a laptop and headpiece equipment to read his brain waves. Then Ren is on the train and declines a call from her father Robert before getting off at a busy office. Byron, a colleague, instructs her to clear the approvals in her queue. Ren jumps out of a plane in her OtherLife and parachutes to the earth, but she wakes up with Byron in a testing room. When the interview is returned to, it becomes clear that Ren's father has spoken out against the potential risks of continuous contact with her technology. He worries about physical signs like seizures and brain damage. Ren agrees that risks exist because abusing any substance carries a certain amount of risk. In a voiceover, Ren introduces her technology as she tests out a hiking adventure. She describes it as a screenplay that the brain follows just like it would any other memory, using subconscious elements to construct the ideal day. She does, however, add that there is no possibility of it lasting any longer. Ren tests out a snowboarding experience that involves climbing a snowy mountain and then sliding, but each time she is brought back to the cabin at the start of the day by the same experience. Ren is trapped while the scene changes and turns all around her until Byron is able to free her. She had already spent 6 days inside the experience by the time he did that. Because the snowboarding experience was supposed to be a huge selling, she is confident that she can fix the code and that they can still use it. Ren is at a sales meeting with Sam, who founded OtherLife. He introduces the concept to new clients. He describes it as viable free time that can be used to go on full adventures before work or during lunchtime. Sam discusses how OtherLife was more than an experiment and could improve a person's life with years' worth of occasions. He asks the audience what they would like to do with their OtherLife as he finishes off his lecture. Sam welcomes Ren and introduces her as his co-founder and asks her to describe some of the science behind the technology. After the meeting, Sam and Ren argue about what the business will be needing moving ahead. Ren runs into Danny, who was waiting for a date Ren had forgotten about. As she leaves the meeting, she apologizes, but she must leave because of job. When they were back at the interview, the interviewers read aloud reports regarding how users can end up distancing themselves from reality. They mention how a similar situation could appear alienating. That night, Ren and Byron work late to fix the snowboarding experience. According to the countdown clock, OtherLife will go live in around 5 days. Ren locates a fault in the code and successfully tests the updated version. They keep working into the night, and Byron asks how many tests Ren has completed. She says 482, which he compares to spending around 20 days in OtherLife in a single day of real life. Danny brings up a report on the long-term use of OtherLife, which Sam requested. As Ren reads it, she admits she was unaware of it. Moreover, she instructs Byron not to see Sam behind her back. According to Byron, the recursive bug they have been experiencing might hold the secret to creating longer simulations. Ren stays behind to continue working, while he and Danny decide to go out for drinks. She and her brother repeat the swimming simulation, while once more surrounded by empty droppers from her testing. She notes the outcome of her 340th test and notes that more testing is required. The interviewers talk about the possible medicinal uses of OtherLife for brain and memory diseases, as well as potential ethical concerns given that it puts concepts in people's minds. Ren says that she is not considering any other uses. Ren goes back to her brother's bed to attempt OtherLife on him once more. When she sees that he is twitching, she becomes optimistic. When a nurse arrives, she hides her tech and asks about about it. The nurse says that sometimes things like eye twitches do happen. She goes home after leaving and reviews the information. On their night out, Byron and Danny call her to let her know what she missed, and she receives an email from her father informing her that her brother's life support will be turned off. The following day, Ren visits her father at the university where he works as a professor. They talk about the ethics, development, and potential benefits of OtherLife for her brother. Her dad is concerned about a glitch, but she insists that it's just bad coding. He argues that mental illnesses like anxiety, sadness, and others might just be faulty programs, but the brain is more complex than that. Ren believes that if her brother is still conscious inside, he only needs a way to get out and blames him for giving up on him. Her father claims that he could disconnect her sibling without her permission and is only requesting her help. Ren arrives at work, angry. She requests assistance from Cass, her coworker, in removing her data from the system. Sam and Byron find that their use of nanite stock has been strongly higher than what was shown in her defined tests. They inquire what simulation she is using, but she doesn't reveal it, just stating that it is still in the experimental stage. After Byron leaves, she talks with Sam alone. He suggests using OtherLife as a prison to rehabilitate criminals and let them serve out their demands quickly. Ren refuses, and Sam shouts at her and asks her to return to work and finish their ongoing product. As she leaves, Danny is waiting for her outside. Despite him insisting, she refuses to talk about what's wrong. Instead, they both go and have sex. Ren then gives Danny a snowboarding simulation. They discuss how everything is chemical, even memory. Danny says he had not expected the experience to feel so real. As Ren checks her phone, Danny pulls out another dropper from Ren's purse and tries it, assuming it is another snowboarding experience. Instead, he takes one of Ren's experimental photos, in which she and her brother are swimming. Ren calls an ambulance as Danny begins to have seizures and does not open his eyes. There are just 5 days left on the countdown clock before the release. Ren and Sam talk with the legal counsel. She corrects them when they refer to OtherLife as a medication and clarifies that it is actually a piece of software. Sam makes the decision to speak with Ren alone and asks her regarding the incident that cost Danny's life. Every other simulation had been tested and frequently approved. Only Ren had tried that experience. Ren has been criticized about her goals regarding the technology in a split to the interview, but she chooses not to respond. In order to handle the matter without putting Ren to jail, Sam makes arrangements for a deal where Ren would agree to be a trial patient to a 1-year jail time in OtherLife rather than having charges brought against them. She resists, but Sam insists on doing it in order to save the company. She realizes that Sam had been preparing to use the prison technology application behind her back. Sam is adamant that 1 minute of her life is better to the alternative, rather using an untested sample to kill someone. She then agrees. Ren, Sam, Byron, and several authorities go to the testing room. Since the 365 days trial will go far longer than the normal 24-hour simulations, Ren worries and asks Byron to make sure that everything is set up correctly. After Byron puts her under, she awakens in a small room with a screen on one wall having the number 1. She can hear the digital numbers electronic buzzing. The room includes a sleeping mat, a toilet, a tablet, a pen, and a hatch for food, water, and facilities. She works out, eats, and makes notes about how to make the place better, only to remember that no one else can read those notes. As soon as the cell is reset for the day, the light flashes red and the number changes to 2. She hits her head against the wall as she recalls Danny seizing. On the 3rd day, Ren vibrates and pokes her fingers through the floor grate to distract herself. On the 6th day, she recalls going swimming with her brother, losing him, and finding him washed up on the shore. She makes a commitment to keep her brother in mind. As the days pass, she begins to make notes about people who have come out from prolonged comas and the events that led to their recovery. She questions whether her brother is really dead and whether she can actually bring him back to life via programming. She watches as the lights turn red on day 365. However, the room then returns to 1. Ren panics after realizing that the exit strategy failed. She yells and begins smashing stuff. She eventually lies still in the destroyed room, but she can hear the wind. She opens the window and finds a space and pushes at it after. She finds a hole, rips the plastic sheet, and climbs through it into a room that resembles a warehouse and contains her cell, which is also wrapped in plastic sheeting. In addition to a monitor room and a guard's desk, she discovers stocks of the food and water she had been ingesting. As the guard returns to his desk and notices her, she snatches the keys and a coat to run away from him, stealing a truck and the whole thing. Ren ended up roaming down a crowded street while discovering ignoring advertisements for OtherLife and passing by other people. Then Ren contacts the hospital to inquire about her brother. She then goes to her workplace and finds it empty. She shops for some new clothing and finds Sam's face on a magazine cover. When she goes to the police, they discover that although she was the subject of a missing persons report, she was also documented as having lived in Italy for the past year. She tries to explain to them what happened with OtherLife, mentioning that she was a co-founder. However, the police are unable to locate any proof of any reports made against her. When they check the cell, all they discover are the leftovers. She checks her apartment, but since someone else has been living there for the past year, the front desk employee won't allow her to look for her belongings. Sam shows up in the meantime, who had promised to come as soon as he heard and wanted to get her somewhere safe. Sam gets denied entry by the front desk employee, and Ren just ignores him. She eventually succeeds in getting out without Sam noticing her. Ren goes to ask for assistance from Cass. She welcomes her inside and provides her with food. Cass says that the other employees believed that Ren had cashed out and gone to Italy without saying goodbye. Ren also finds that Danny is still alive and sees him. Ren, Cass, and Danny get together at a restaurant. Danny talks about his experience in the swimming simulation, where he felt like he was drowning. After a week of tests, he was fine when he woke up in the hospital. The launch of OtherLife went good as well, with prison being the company's backbone for sentences to last years or even centuries. She says that she wants to find out more about what happened. Danny tries to convince Ren to go away or alert the media. Ren says she registered her father's patent, which he refused to use, in an effort to support her brother. However, Sam has stolen that patent. Ren and Danny break into the OtherLife building using Cass's ID card to search for Ren's data. Danny stops Byron until they reach his office so Ren may access his laptop. Ren hits Byron when he manages to call the police, and they both leave once she discovers her hard drive and gives it back. Cass is taken into custody by the authorities, but Danny and Ren successfully escape. While they are driving away, Ren explains that they will need an OtherLife printer, but since the OtherLife building holds the majority of them, they must leave the city to reach Robert's houses. When they arrive, the home is empty, so Ren starts to work. The next morning, while she and Danny eat breakfast, she gets out of bed at the desk and takes a moment to enjoy all that is around her. Ren apologizes to Danny, he accepts it, and they have sex. As the movie's opening image of her eye appears, she wakes up to the sound of her dad getting home. Ren goes to speak with him and informs her father that Sam stole her work. She also realizes it was her father who reported the missing person. Ren discusses her swimming simulation as she goes back to the printer. She claims that Danny drowned after taking it because he unconsciously decided how the simulation would end when he experienced being underwater. Ren wanted to give Jared a choice when he was developing the experience and to give him a chance to escape alive and awaken as a result. She experienced an unsafe and drug-like version of OtherLife where it was possible to rewrite memories. She was also concerned that the business will eventually develop it to that same level. Robert promises to phone the TDA and raise a safety issue. Sam will be stopped in a review as a result, giving them time to complete it, and says that when her father inquires as to if she has already finished it, Ren prints the experience and claims that it will work. To give it to her brother, she goes to the hospital. After some time, her brother wakes up and Ren is very happy. However, he soon starts to shake severely. In the end, Ren pulls the plug and starts crying. She waits there till Sam approaches her. She spends the entire night at the hospital by his side. He claims that Jared wants to live in a dream state rather than choosing to wake up. Ren sees flashes of the testing room, of angry and bewildered people, and of Byron telling Ren to wake up. She returns to the beach once again, alone, and realizes that she is still in her other life as the hospital vanishes. She enters the sea, letting the waves wash over her. The water starts to change into a colorful array of images and voices and then turns red. Ren wakes up in the testing room and hits Sam before attempting to destroy the tape. She ultimately settles down and has a cup of tea while reflecting on her brother and the interactions she had with Danny and her dad during the simulation. In response to the interviewer's inquiry about her dreams, she says she wants to offer people a unique opportunity to experience a lifestyle they might not have had the chance to. The program is approved for broadcast by the interviewers. Ren apologizes to Sam for hitting him and tells him she wants to withdraw from the company to concentrate on research and development. Sam and she would leave the business together, but she would keep the patent. Sam is upset by this, and as she leaves, he throws something off his desk. Ren talks to her dad about Sam while during Danny's funeral, where he is burnt. Ren requests her father to accompany her to the hospital. Ren gets a call from Sam before she can reach the hospital that she has to see something in person. person. She returns to the office to see things being put away. After she discovers Sam and Byron discussing her experience, they get excited about the possibility of an interactive experience when they find out that she was able to escape from the prison. Ren tries to leave, though, and refuses to help. Sam convinces her to sit down while outlining the benefits of her help, but he later tries to drag her back into the same experience. Byron first refuses to help. When Sam explains that the sooner he helps, the sooner Ren can return to them, Byron agrees to help. Ren returns to the jail where she begins to survive by planning her days and eventually wakes up on her own. When she stands up, she wipes the liquid off her cheek and puts Sam in the same simulation by putting the fluid into his eye. She and Byron observe Sam's progress over the days and the system crashes. When they recognize they must wake him up urgently to avoid his death, Ren, however, waits to proceed until he has experienced all 365 plus 1 days, just as she had. Sam wakes up. Ren and Byron leave Sam to cry in the chair. Ren visits her father at the hospital later, where they both cry for Jared. Ren goes back to the beach's bridge and looks out at the water, and the movie ends. Subscribe to watch more movie recaps like this. Thanks for watching. See you in the next plot. Goodbye.